moves, similar to the third round. To the third round, let's get to the third round. In the World Cup, I think every match is tense match, and you cannot really expect easy games. There are sometimes you do play easy games, sometimes you play and win easily. I think it's an exception mostly, but that happens. But normally, all the games are quite tense. And the next match, I was playing the first game, the match against the legend. The legendary Pia Cramling. I played with her twice already. In the World Championship, in the semi-final of the World Championship of 2008, and in the quarterfinals of the 2017 World Champion. G Marin444, thank you so much for subscribing. And this time we met already quite in an early stage, round 3. So she's a very experienced and strong grandmaster, and I've played many games with her. In this game. Why it doesn't? Okay, yeah. And so the first game, knight f3 d5. Oi, no. Going forward a little bit. Knight f3 d5. d4, knight f6. Pia, of course, plays many different openings and setups, and in this particular game we played the Ragozin defense. Pia opted for bishop g5 line. There are many lines for white, and in the Ragozin, queen a4, knight c6. That's the only drawback of the Ragozin defense, that black is sometimes forced to protect the bishop with the knight on c6, and this knight is kind of stopping the c pawn, and then black needs to spend some time to put this knight away and then play c6 or c5. e3, castle, rook c1. That's all a very well-known theory. I will not dive into details, otherwise we're going to spend a lot of time here. And yes, guys, I hope to post this stream on YouTube. I probably will separate it round by round to make it like easier to watch. There are so many things to do that I just don't have time for that, but eventually I think I will, fingers crossed. Pia played bishop e2. Another idea for white is to include c takes d5 first and then to develop the bishop, in order not to spend time after bishop e2, d takes c4, bishop takes c4. And here I played quite common here move, e5. So what is my idea? My idea, after d5, to play e4. Sometimes black just retreats the knight to e7, and this pawn structure is, oops, sorry, not here, of course. take here first and then knight to e7, and this pawn structure is fine as well. But in this particular situation, there is another option, which is to play e4 immediately and then take on c3 and play knight d7, threatening to take on d5, with the idea after knight takes e4 to play queen e5, and the position is very good for black. So if the knight just goes back, I take, and I solved all my opening problems. Moreover, I have the control of the d file. I will play c6, bishop e6. I think I have an advantage here. That was my idea of playing e5. Castling, I think white should have castled here. That's the strongest move, which will lead to approximately equal position, where white still ask black a few questions. And my opponent made a mistake. Well, it's not really a mistake, but it's much harder to play for white after d takes e5. Even though the position remains equal, even though the position remains equal, but I do have a very strong intermediate moves. We do talk a lot about intermediate moves here. There was one game between Jovanka Huska and Christopher Dorrington in England in 2014 with this particular position, where black just took on c3, and actually when I was playing e5, that was my intention. I was going to take on c3, on e5, exchange everything, and after castle I was going to play c6, and I thought that my position is very nice. I have my rook on the d file, I'm about to play bishop e6. No opening problems whatsoever, but no opening advantage either. And when I played e5 and my opponent took on e5, I realized that knight takes e5, I mean bishop takes e3 and knight takes e5 is quite strong, but it's not the only option. And I did see a very interesting move that was so tempting. It was hard to resist. And I did make it. Queen to g6. So one more intermediate move. I don't take the pawn back, I don't win it back, but I counterattack. Knowing that I will win it back eventually. And actually, after analyzing this position, it seems that it was better for white to play bishop to e2, sacrificing this pawn that I would take, most likely. I would play queen h3, and then reaching the following position, which is absolutely unclear, but I would say about equal. This endgame is about equal. Pia, quite logically, castled, short, but here's the problem, that I start to attack her king's position. I play bishop h3, and it's about giving a checkmate now. And now white needs to decide how to protect the pawn on g2. And Pia made a mistake. She played knight to e1. It was necessary for white to play knight to h4, which is quite a difficult choice because knight on h4 is not protected after queen g4, and you really need to see a lot of lines and understand that after, for example, knight d5, queen takes h4, g takes h3, black doesn't have anything more than a perpetual check. For example, after queen takes h3, and then queen g4, queen f3. But of course, when you go for such lines, and you calculate, you don't know the computer evaluation during a practical game, and you don't know what is going to happen after bishop d2, for example, and you need to see a lot of lines, and they seem to be so dangerous and unclear, but that was the way to continue. Here it's also about equal, I think, in this line, but the lines are very complicated. In the game, Pia played knight to e1, which is a mistake, and it gives black quite a big advantage. I took on e5, bishop e2, and here I made the wrong choice. I should have played bishop takes e3, rook takes e3, and rook d2. Simple as that. Getting to the second rank, attacking the bishop on e2, and my idea, the bishop cannot really get away because of this beautiful knight f3 check. That's the idea that I saw, and it just was so tempting that's why I could not resist, and I made this queen g6 move. Instead, I played c5, which is not the strongest move here, and it leads to approximately equal position. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to understand that this position that I was calculating during the game is so much better, this endgame is so much better for me. I don't know why. I don't know why it was not clear enough. Again, it's again about evaluations, right? It's not really about some seeing a line, but rather about evaluating it. In the game, I decided to play c5, but after that, queen c2, exchange on c2 was kind of forced, and I think I made the wrong choice here. I should have played bishop e6. Instead, I played bishop f5, completely forgetting about the f4 move. Not really forgetting, but I was calculating the line, and I was thinking, I thought that after knight d4 I was attacking the rook. In fact, I don't attack it. No, I thought that I will win the piece back, but I'm not winning it back. Because bishop d1, actually it's unclear here, but I think white can take on f7. No, we cannot take. Okay, it's not so clear, but bishop c4 is a very strong move. And e7. Okay, let's say that's what I missed. Probably that's what Pia missed, because we exchanged lines during our game and she did not go for this line because of knight d4. And actually it's quite hard to miss. Because after b takes c3, rook d2, white is winning, but you need to see this idea with bishop c4 and e2, e7. Or bishop b5 is also quite strong. So I would not go knight d4. I was going to play bishop d7, but of course we're not talking about any advantage here. I think here is about equal. The position is about equal. In the game, Pia played knight to f3, but then my position is very pleasant to play. I have a pair of bishops, passed pawn. My rook is behind this passed pawn. Bishop d3 and rook a to c8 was so much stronger here, and I don't know why I did not make this move. And actually I made a huge mistake here again, and I was lucky not to lose after this mistake. I kept missing some possibilities from my opponents. I could have played bishop b6. That would have been the best move. I played b6 and then realized that white can play rook b5 and then b4, and they're winning both of my bishops. I need to take on b5. I need to give my bishop for this pawn, and this position is unclear. I mean, yes, it looks very winning even for black, but it's not. It's not. These pawns, yes, they are strong and both rooks are behind them, but white's pieces are also quite strong, and they can they are able to stop these pawns. Of course, it might be difficult to understand that these pawns can actually be stopped, but that is an approximate line, and that is how white was supposed to play after my mistake, b6. Thank you so much, guys, for congratulating me. Rook c6, rook a to c8, take, f3, bishop to d2, king to f2. Now the position is just much better. All white's pieces are being on the last ranks, and it's impossible to find a plan to somehow bring them back to life. So this maneuver of putting my bishop to c1 is very strong, because now the knight is almost glued to the b2 pawn that it needs to protect, and I can make small improving moves, such as a6, for example, the moves that I enjoyed a lot. I calculated all lines with f6, and but then you see, white has an idea. White wants to play knight c3. Actually, white is threatening to play knight c3 in a way, and then knight b5 and some counterplay. And that's why I play a6. Simple as that, because bishop takes a6 will just bring us to a beautiful checkmate, or to a completely lost position in that case. And if white plays knight c3 here, as I already showed you, the square b5 is under control, and it's quite important. Even though in this particular position we have opposite colored bishops, but the rooks are still on the board and I'm close to winning. Rook f2, Pia decided to wait, b5, one more improving move, f4. Finally, black just doesn't wish to wait and see how I will improve my position to the maximum, but f4 has a drawback since the pawn on e4 starts to hang, and I immediately transfer my pieces to attack it. Rook f3, bishop d5, king f2, again white knight cannot really go to f2 since the pawn on b2 is hanging. King to f2, and here I have an extra pawn and a better position. f5, of course, securing the pawns on the king side here, and preparing the journey, the road for my king. h4, knight f7, a4, I take on a4, rook a3, bishop d2. A few more moves before time travel. That's a very nice idea. Bishop d2, a5, preparing the square on b4 for my bishop, and knight f3, king f3. Pia played because she was afraid of this idea d3. And if she takes, I take, and in case of knight e3, the pawn endgame is completely winning for me. I can either play h5 or king e6 with the idea h5 and then win it quite easily. Now king f3, bishop b4, g4, rook e1, and well, white's pieces are still on the first rank, and I can again improve this position the way I want to. There are so many ways to improve it. I just decided to transfer my bishop to this long diagonal to attack b2 pawn, and then if the rook goes to b1, I can bring it to d4, and then I can go with my king somewhere to c2 and completely dominate this game. So that's why Pia resigned. That was the first game of the third round. And in the next game I was playing white, and I needed only a draw, and that game I did not have any particular problems in this game. I got a very comfortable position out of the opening. I opted for bishop b5 move, knight d7, bishop a4, tricky, trendy continuation, some move order nuances. Just white tries to play c3 and bishop c2 and not cover the d file for the d pawn. Castle, using the fact that here, even though the pawn is hanging, after knight takes e4, white will play rook e1, will play d4, and black's king is still in the center. It's very hard to finish development. After e6, knight b5 will follow, and the pawn on d6 is hanging, and if black plays d5, bishop f4 with knight c7. So that's a tricky move order, which is quite trending nowadays. Pia played g6. But in that case I'm able to finish my opening plan, which is to play rook e1, c3, prepare d4, and maybe e5 later on. Castle d4. And here I think the key moment, the key move for black is to play e5, of course, because otherwise white gets just a very strong position. e5 This move has been played in some of the games. Hikaru Nakamura played this position several times with white. Against this move, he opted for d takes e5. Of course, another option is to play d5. I think in the game I would play d takes e5 as well. And then in this position, c4, white usually plays. It's a very strange position with these two weak squares, d5 and d4, but white is faster to get to this d5 square, and that gives white an edge. But Pia did not play e5. I think she should have. She played knight b6. For some reason I decided to go bishop c2, although bishop b3 probably would be stronger to keep the bishop on this a2 g8 diagonal. But I played bishop c2, c takes d4, c takes d4, bishop g4, and knight b to d2. Seems to be the right move to continue here. I'm ready to take with the knight after bishop takes f3. Pia played d5. I think she should have waited. She should have waited somehow. She should have tried to keep the pressure, because after d5 it's so easy for me to play. We close the center, but black is too passive, and her knight on b6 is very badly placed. It should have it should have been on c6. Normally it's on c6 and then f6, attacking the white center or in there, but with the knight on b6 the position is just almost hopeless. Knight c7 she played, and I did not find the right idea here. I did find it a little bit later. Actually, black's plan is to transfer his knight from b6 to c6. It can be transferred via c4 or via b8, but it just has to be transferred. And I played a4, and it's not this side where I was supposed to play. And I just realized it later that the strongest move, the strongest idea here is h4. As we all know nowadays, with the pawn on g6, h4 is the right plan. And here, with the closed center and with no counterplay in the center for black, that was the way to play. I played a4, and I was very disappointed that I let black's knight to go to c4, which is obviously black's idea. And I spent, I think, almost 20 minutes here trying to figure out the best way to continue. And I realized I found the right way. I played h4, knight e6, and here I should have continued. I should have played h5, g3, king g2, you know, with a direct approach, with a very direct approach, just very straightforward. G3, and then I'm able to control the center, which is quite important. And then king g2 and rook h1, and checkmate is soon will be somewhere here. But somehow I was not so sure about this plan, and I was trying to play safe, and I played knight g5, which is a good move, but not as strong as the most straightforward plan with h5. So I opened the h file that way, and here Pia made the final mistake. Well, in this particular game, when she needed to win, she had to play e6. And hoping that my play on the h file will not be strong enough, and she will get the counterplay somewhere on the queen side. For example, here some knight takes e5 ideas are possible. There are some ideas for black. So e6 was the way to continue here. Instead, she was afraid of the attack on the h file, which is quite understandable. She decided to play f6. But in that case, she just opens up the position, and I do have a pair of bishops, and we know that open positions are good for bishops. And well, it was just so easy to play, having in mind that a draw will be good enough to qualify for the fourth round. I played rook 8 to d1, knight to c6, and here again I spent quite a lot of time because I thought that my position would be much better here with 2 bishops in open position. But somehow my pieces are hanging. And I don't have a pawn on c5, for example, to protect my bishop on d6. And I wish I could play queen f7, but rook e1 will follow, and the bishop on d6 is hanging. And if I just retreat the bishop, I cannot retreat the bishop, right, because of rook e1 and queen d5. And if I take and rook d8 is coming, so I did not really like the position until I found the move rook e4, which seemed a little bit dubious to me at first. But at the same time, I'm threatening queen f7, and Pia missed this threat. She did not really understand that that's my intention. My intention is not to double the rooks on the e file, but to play queen f7. She should have played queen f6, protecting the f7 square. I was going to play rook f4, which is not necessarily the best move, but I was thinking about playing rook f4 with the idea after queen c3 to take on g6. And suddenly the king is in a checkmating net. So after rook f4, black is almost obliged to play queen e6. Then I exchange the queens, I can exchange the rooks, and again I have a very pleasant position, small plus with 2 bishops. Since a draw is almost like a win for me, it's a very comfortable situation to be at. Instead, Pia played rook c8. As I already said, that's a mistake. It could have been crucial, but again, rook, queen f7. The idea after knight d4 is to take on d4, and there is no checkmate. Well, you can give a check, but that's it. The rook controls the h4 square, and after queen g5, I can even play rook d1, protecting the first rank. And after the rook takes e4, bishop takes e4, knight d4. Fortunately for me, I have queen takes b7, attacking the rook, so it's not possible to take on d6. And if she goes knight e2, I play king f1, and after knight c3, I have rook c1, which is also quite strong, again using the fact that the rook on c8 is hanging. And suddenly this position is just completely hopeless for black. Okay, after rook c3, I saw this funny perpetual in a way, and we agreed on a draw. I could have played for a win by playing bishop e7, for example, and kind of forcing black into this worse endgame. But in this knockout event, I think the most important thing is to win a match, and draw gave me this victory and let me get into the quarterfinals of this tournament. And you know, since it's already 10 p.m. and I feel that my energy is getting lower, I would propose to postpone this stream about the round number 4, 5, and 6 to the next stream. So we are all refreshed and we're not in a hurry, because right now I feel that I'm falling asleep, and since it's just the beginning, it's just round number 3, and ahead of us 4 rounds and 4 very exciting matches. The match of the 4th round against Maria Muzachuk, then the semifinals against Valentina Gunina, then with Valentina it was just the quarter of the final, 1/4, then round number 6 or the semifinals against Tanjani, and then the final against Alexandra Goryachkina. So I just started telling you about my World Cup journey, I think it was a good start. I will try to prepare some videos and video to show you some videos for the next stream. So I think that would be wise to finish now, especially St. Louis started and more people. I think some people want to watch it as well. So I'll end my stream now, and yeah, I'll go to sleep and I'll get back soon. I'm not sure when, but soon, because I have a few streams in Russians. I have some nice sound. I'm not sure what this sound is about, but I hope to see all of you next week. So we'll try to book another time on Chess TV to continue my story about the about my World Cup journey. I remind you that I need your help, well, the help of my subscribers, on this coming Saturday, August 14th at 7 p.m. Central European Time. At 7 p.m. Central European Time, there's going to be a sub-battle. So we need to form a team. We need to find a team. I need your help, guys. That's always quite challenging to find a team, but I hope we'll be able to do that. Please, versus Krikor Mkhitaryan. So that's gonna be tough. He has a huge army of subscribers. Well, we're not looking for easy ways. But for the moment, I have only two players out of 12. It's going to be a match on 12 boards with 3-0 time control. So please join my Discord if you're a subscriber. Join my team. I hope to see some of you. Yeah, there are many photos and there are going to be many videos for the next stream, I promise you. Did not have time and a chance to prepare it, but we talked a lot and I showed you some nice photos. Да, всем большое спасибо за поздравления. Завтра у меня запланирован стрим с Синедом. Обсудим с ним, как его дела в шахматах продвигаются. Затем в субботу саб-баттл с каналом Крикора, ведущий португальский стример, гроссмейстер международный. Пока команда не набралась, так что в Дискорде записывайтесь, особенно если вы подписчик канала моего. И в воскресенье я даю детский сеанс ребятам из моей школы шахмат. Тоже должно быть интересно, помучают меня ребята или я их. Так что остаемся на связи. Yes, I was telling my Russian-speaking spectators, that tomorrow I'm going to have a stream with Russian streamer Sinet. He gave me some Hearthstone lessons a while ago, and he was rooting for me during the World Cup, waiting for me to finish actually to have a stream. And then on Saturday I'm going to have a sub-battle. Well, we are going to have a sub-battle against Krikor, and on Sunday I'm going to give an online simo for the students of my online chess school. So stay tuned. Well, stay tuned. I promise you to get back with the second part of my World Cup journey, and hopefully we'll be able to finish. Although I'm not sure. Today we spent only 2 hours for the first 2 rounds on some photos. Next time there are gonna be some videos and probably 2 more rounds. I might need part 3 as well, but we have time. We have time right now. Yes, you still don't know whether I won the World Cup. You can only, pretend, guess, looking at the photos, with me with a medal and a cup, but it might be place number 3 or place number 2, right? Who knows? Okay, guys, thank you so much for watching. I will wrap up for today. I hope that you enjoyed this stream. And yeah, part 2 of the World Cup, then part 3 of the World Cup. I think I need 2 more parts. So next time I'll talk about round 4 and 5, and then 6 and 7. Only today, actually the whole day today, I was analyzing my games and looking at my games, and I realized that there were many games, actually just 12, but so many interesting lines and ideas and emotions are in each of them. So yeah, so I hope to see you all soon. I'm going to rate now, I think, chess.com channel. Yeah, I'm going to rate the chess.com channel. И жду всех в воскресенье, да и завтра. В общем, увидимся. See you all real soon. And please don't forget to sign up for sub battle. I need you. I need my team. Okay, guys, take care. See you soon. Bye bye. Thanks for watching.